Welcome back. Well, we have Jeff Parker here for a special edition of This Day. Now, we are going to be talking about the village reopening plan. Well, this is very exciting because I know we've been waiting for this for like a whole year, right? And here we are.
It seems like it, and we're making such good strides throughout the state and through the county. The county's now reached the next stage, which is going into the orange tier, which is really great news.
Right, and you know, it seemed like we didn't have to wait that long to get into the orange tier. Was it approximately 2 weeks?
It was just a little over 2 weeks, but it was under the normal 3 because they accomplished, part of it was the state and the county accomplishing more vaccinations.
Exactly.
So it was not only the numbers had been falling just like it predicted, and we had already seen them going into the orange tier anyhow, but with the acceleration of the vaccines, the state allowed them to move up to the orange, or move down, whichever way you want to look at it, to the orange category a week sooner than what we anticipated originally.
Right, yeah, well, I tell you, California really has done a pretty good job of getting their vaccinations out there. So, well, what does it mean to us here in the village, you know, starting today?
Well, there's a couple things. One, I do want to mention that, hey, we had seen the trend coming, and we had anticipated that next week was when they were going to announce. So we were kind of gearing up staff-wise and you know, getting our operations set up to kind of step up next week and get things going really April 12th. But with this good news and moving up, we met with our recreational staff and our CEO office staff and media communications, Eileen and everything, and said, okay, what can we open up next Monday? And so that's what I want to present today, that we're going to do that. We're going to step it up, and we're going to start operating like we're in the orange.
Oh, that's really great. Now, this will begin April 5th, which is Monday?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So good. So we'll start then.
And the reason that is because a lot of the usages that we're going to talk about are reservation-based. So you can start making reservations Friday for Monday's use. Okay,
great. Well, let's talk about some of the things that will be opening.
So as you have up on the PowerPoint, Clubhouse 4, you know, we have a lot of activities there, from ceramics to sewing to the woodworking shop. Again, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail, but those will start opening up on different days. There's a little scheduling things that we had to accomplish, but starting on Monday, we'll be able to, following those guidelines from the state and the county, certain percentages will be able to open up, like 25% capacity. It's not just fully open up, but it allows us to open the doors and get people back in using a reservation system, social distancing, and being able to have a limited capacity.
Okay, and then you've also got some other things, and where are most of those being done?
So some of these are outside. And most of them are outside in all reality, but besides Clubhouse 4, and we're just expanding those activities. We had not been doing these as much, and so we're going to be able to host additional classes and additional programs outside. Some of these ultimately, like the pool locker rooms, are obviously inside, but these activities will probably at some point in time in the near future, probably when we get to the yellow zone, some of them could even transition to indoors.
Oh, okay, so for instance, personal training and dancing. So personal training would be still an outdoor activity.
Still an outdoor activity where you have a personal trainer involved, but and that type of activity is still outside. But eventually, I think when we get to the next tier, the yellow tier, we could see if there's capacity, that some of those activities could go inside.
Okay. All right, perfect. Now, at Clubhouse 4, you said it was going to be sort of a staggered arrangement. So how is that going to work?
So as you can see up here, we have a number of Monday through Friday activities from 9 a.m. to noon, or from 12:30 to 3:30. So these are staggered by basically 3-hour timeframes where individuals can make a reservation for using the ceramic studio up at the top there. They can go in the morning or they can go in the afternoon, but we'll keep the reservations open so that we can get as many people in as we can. Yeah. Again, it's limited to the capacity of the room there is only 11. So that means we can do 22 people that day.
Okay.
So depending on the reservations, how many active people we have in the program, we'll be able to do that. The reason I mentioned before to you the time frame, the April 12th is the first one up there. It seems, well, you said April 5th, Jeff. You said April 5th. The ceramics one is because we are using, with a lot of these programs, we have volunteer supervisors. These are resident supervisors that oversee these programs. And coordinating with the supervisors for the ceramic program, they felt comfortable starting on the 12th and gearing up as opposed to the 5th.
Okay.
Most of the people that are in the ceramics program already know that we're headed that way. So we just want to get this word out to the whole community, which we will following the show, and we'll get that information out there.
Okay, now you said it was based on a reservation system. How is that going to work?
Very similar to how we've been taking reservations for pool usage, swimming usage, or class issue recreation right now. You'll be able to call our recreation department and go online to that activity. But if you need to follow up and need help in getting a reservation, you can't get online to do that, then we'll be able to help you out through the recreation department.
Okay, perfect. And then gyms and fitness centers. Now, currently things are being done outdoors, but you kind of anticipate that to be the same, or will you open up inside as well?
We're going to open up inside. That's our goal, is to, again, limited to the 25%, but we want to, which is only 7 people inside. We're going to still have the outside because obviously we can have as many as 20 people out there.
Yeah.
So just increasing our total capacity by having people inside and out.
Okay.
We're going to take every advantage of it.
All right, that's great. And then other activities. I think some people are excited that maybe we get the outdoor movies back.
Yeah, I think this is one where we're going to have just a lot of flexibility with regards to what we can do in a sense of additional activities out there. Now, we have a couple of TBDs there, which means we're still working on when that's going to be able to be arranged.
Okay.
So, and where we're going to have those.
Okay.
So if we are, we're looking at, we use Clubhouse 5 for movies. We've talked about using Clubhouse 3, which is under construction, so we aren't going to have that available to us. So we're working on how we can get those scheduled and how we would want to get those out there, but we now have the freedom to do it and with a certain amount of activity level.
Well, I'm sure people will just be thrilled to know that you're actively getting things going, and we're going to start something new again, but old.
Exactly. We want to, as much as we possible can get back to where we were and providing all these different amenities to the community.
Right. No, it's great. It's great. Now, of course, we still have one more tier before we're mainly in the clear, and that's the yellow tier. So how does that differ from the orange?
It gives you greater capacity. So a number of the situations that we have right now, we're at 25% capacity.
Right.
This will go up to a minimum of 50% capacity and potentially even fully operational, depending on what the activity is and how many people are involved. The modifications with regards to how we operate inside probably won't change much. In other words, you're still going to have to wear a mask. Still have to be social distance, so those will be the same. The biggest difference between the yellow tier and the orange tier is, in all reality, the category by which the state and the county is saying you're okay to go to that tier because you've lowered your activity with regards to positive tests. And with the more and more vaccines that are getting out there, including our efforts here at the village to get just about everybody vaccinated, we're seeing that drop pretty dramatically. Now, we're not in the yellow tier yet with regards to our categories, and we talk about that, but we have reached one of them. So we're certainly trending in that direction. It'll be full 3 weeks to get there. And really what it does, besides that being key, you've hit your numbers, it gives you greater capacity. For the village, it's 25% to 50%. That's the big jump. With regards to the community as a whole, going out there outside the gates and stuff like that, it means more and more activities like shopping malls and stuff can be unlimited in their capacity.
Well, and I think I was actually just talking to Supervisor Lisa Bartlett and, of course, our Representative Cotty Petrie-Norris, and their whole belief is that this could be a little bit slower going from this orange to the yellow, primarily because of what you just said, where we've got vaccinations going, our numbers are lower, but it could take just a little bit longer to reach all three levels.
And I think that's correct. One, because the threshold's pretty significant to meet. It's pretty low, which it should be. I mean, it's a great goal to keep moving towards, and the county's done a wonderful job of obviously getting vaccines out, and the more we can do that, and the more accessibility is out there with the action to get people vaccinated now, starting today, basically getting everybody that's over 50 eligible to get a vaccine, and then April 16th, I believe it is, 15th or 16th, getting anybody above 16 years of age in that category. One is, can they get the vaccine? But two, the more we get people vaccinated, the more you're going to drive yourself to that herd immunity concept, which just makes it easier for counties to say, okay, we can open things up.
Right, which is great news. Now, of course, with moving from one tier to the next and the excitement and the anticipation of everyone, people are going to be impatient and excited all in one. So what are some things that they should keep in mind? What should be their expectations?
Well, I think the one thing I want to say to everybody is that we're continuing to following the guidance from the state and Orange County. We're not going to jump and do something that we can't do. So as we graduate to the orange tier and then hopefully soon to the yellow tier, just watch for the information. We're still going to come on Monday and Friday as much as possible and talk about, hey, this is what we've accomplished. Here's where we're at. We mentioned a number of things that we have planned and then some TBAs that we still have. So we're in the process now of hiring additional staff. I want to mention that when we went through the whole COVID shutdown and everything, we eliminated about 60 part-time recreational staff that we had at all the clubhouses. So now we got to get those people back, and we'll do that over a period of time. It's not going to, I can't hire 60 people tomorrow. So we've made already the management changes with regards to making sure we can open up these topics that we talked about on Monday, and we'll start we've got our recruitment already started for the additional staff, and we'll build that up over time. And as we get more staff in here and more capabilities, then we can go back and look at all of the activities that we had before, including really having that dialogue with clubs. We got a survey out right now to all the clubs, and hopefully have that information back by the end of the week on, are they going to still want to participate? Are they still looking for the same location? Do they need a smaller space, a bigger space? All of those things we need to address, because we only have a certain amount of capacity, and scheduling and everything like that's going to be. So I don't expect the clubs to come back right away. I think they're going to be more inclined to be participants, especially once we get to that yellow tier in 3 to 4 weeks. But we do want to get some more of our recreational stuff going right now.
Yeah, that's great. And clubs, some of them have been pretty active with Zoom and distancing and meeting and things like that. So they may be more inclined to want to do that, or they might decide, well, I'd rather do the clubhouses like you mentioned, or some sort of outdoor meeting activity. All right, well, one last thing. We've talked about how many of our people here in the community services building are working at an at-home basis. Do you anticipate bringing some of them back as well?
Relative to the community center, probably not at this point in time. We're going to still try to work on that commuting basis as long as it's working well. Obviously, we started the appointment basis with resident services and manor alterations, and that seems to be going well. If it's necessary for us to have more direct interaction, then sure, we'll evaluate that and take that into consideration. But ironically, in a sense, because we were shut down for so long because of COVID, and when I say shut down, I mean in-person shutdown. Obviously, we were connecting with people by phone, by internet, texting, all those things, and that seems to have been working really well. So it's kind of like, If we have the flexibility to do both, then we'll continue to do that because it works from a operation point of view to have that flex,
Yes.
as well as long as we're meeting the needs and responsibilities for the community.
Exactly, and I think that's not just us. I mean, that is across the country.
Yeah.
Things are changing the way that we're operating, and so who knows? Silver linings, right?
It could be. It definitely could be.
All right, let's tell them one more time how they will go about and getting some kind of reservation starting next week.
So they can go online to the recreation registration format that we have. And then I did want to mention, though, that we have in the past, with regards to our reservation system, run into some individuals who either don't have a computer or are struggling with that. And that's why we wanted to put the phone number up. They can call our recreation office at 949-597-4273 if they need that assistance. Or they can go on to our registration format that we have for recreation, and you can get that online through the website.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for the information. I think everyone's really going to be very excited.
Yeah, I think it's nice to know that we finally kind of reached a place where we were before. When things had finally settled down back in September, October, so, we're kind of in that mode, and then obviously we have the big spike during the winter. I'm hoping that it's just a trend, though, and that we're headed towards the yellow, and then eventually maybe not even in a tier at all.
Exactly.
And that would be nice to have that kind of discussion.
Well, that would be great. Maybe we can. I'll spend July 4th with everyone. We'll see.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. When we return, we will have additional information about Laguna Woods Village. Stay with us.